Hi, Harry back again. Just a little bit of a problem with one of my PCs in my garage. This PC is just a little one to mess around with, bits and pieces, so it's not too important. It's got a MSI crate motherboard in it, 4-core 4350 AMD AM3 plus socket, 16 gigs of HyperX RAM in it. And what the problem is I've got a leak right on this joint here, right in there, so on that cooler there. What it is, I should have shown this before, but on the block at the bottom it's got a very fine cut or mark where that bottom EK fitting screws in. So what I did do is I did try some PTFE tape. You shouldn't do this really, but some PTFE tape wrapped around and then screwed back in, and it still leaked. It was only just dripping. You know, I used to keep this underneath it. You might have seen it in another video. This was underneath, and it was just very, very slightly coming out. Not a lot, you know, maybe a week it might get a drip on it, but it used to catch itself on this little lip at the bottom. Excuse me. And so what I decided to do today is just take it apart, drain it out, and put it back in. But what I've done now is I've just taken it apart again and round. Let me show you around. I got the silicone gun out, and this is the old fitting that was in there. And what I did is I got the screwdriver with some silicone on, and I put some silicone just in that little groove where the rubber seal goes, the O-ring. Then I put the O-ring on the top, squashed it in, then I flattened off, I pushed the silicone back over the top of it and just flattened it over the top, so it was like a 45-degree angle over the top of the O-ring. And then I put it back in. I've put it back in there, and I've left it for now for about an hour. See if we can get the camera at a better angle. In there. Just underneath there it was. So I've just put the water back in through this Water-Cooled reservoir. It's got the D5 pump in around the corner there. And I get to the speed of it through this little hole in here, which works out fine. I've just this second, or this about 5 minutes ago, put the water through it. And I'm just having a look. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the pump back on, and you'll see the water flow through there. I've just got to keep an eye on the reservoir, because you can hear it. Now, to fill this up is a pain in the butt, because what I've got to do is I'll just dab this on there, and I've got to put it through this piece like that, and keep an eye and put it through very, very slow on these Water-Cooled ones, either it splurts out all over the place. So I just put it in nice and gently, keeping an eye on the reservoir so you don't overfill it and it all pisses out all over the place like that. So just got to get a cloth and wipe it off. Just a hard drive bay. Alright, a little bit here, a little bit there. As I say, it's nothing mega, you know, just a test one. Play around with it, doesn't really matter. So no, you know, it's old half X case. But yeah, she's a great little PC. It was just this little leak I got in there, so I'm just going to turn the pump back on. The pump's on, should be on 5. You can see the it's a bit of a tow rag to bleed these through this one, but seems okay. See the water coming down there. All I got to do is keep an eye on that there. So the water keeps going in there. I'm going to put a tad more water in the old res. Was trying to keep the camera on that. Try to put a bit more water in there, keep an eye on that, fill this up all at the same time. Like they say, blokes can't multitask, right? So a bit more water in here, fluid, liquid, whatever you want to do. So I got to do this one-handed because I don't have a tripod, or not one that's any cop. Put that back in there, nice and gently. Put a bit more water in. Res was keeping an eye on the level. I do prefer tube reservoirs, but as I say, this is an old one. Gosh, that must be at least 5 or so years old. Sorry about going off topic there, off angle there. I'm just trying to do all this one-handed. Have a look at that there. That's what we got to keep an eye on, is that. Right, I'm just going to put a bit more fluid in here, put it through there. Keep an eye on the height of that water. And fluid in the res, not that I can really see it. Nice and gently. Water going in there. So I'll keep that as that for the moment. That's the rest of the water that's come out of it. So we're nearly there. See the water going through. Fluid going through there. It's only got a 240 60mm thick rad at the top. Alpha cool. And the same down the bottom here. My drain port coming out the bottom. That's my drain port coming out the bottom of the reservoir. This is a little mod I did 8 years ago, putting a radiator on the side there like that. So I just keep an eye on that. And by now, last time there was fluid coming out of that bottom joint there, but it looks like it's pretty okay at the moment. We've got a bit of air in there. But I'll wiggle it around a bit. But I don't wiggle it around unless I do this up. Because what happens, as you can well know, water will piss out all over the place. So I'll just tighten that up like that. Oh no, I got a bit more. That's it. That's the rest of the liquid that's come out of it. I'll just put that over on the other side there. I'm just going to give the case a little. See some air going up there. Just put you see it going out of the bottom out the bottom up into the GTX 580 hydro copper. and once I sit it up right, it should go down through that one. I just pull the case, there she goes. Okay, I'll just get the screwdriver into there. I can hear the pump. Right, what I'm going to do is leave the pump on 5, it's a Vario. Leave the pump on 5 for a bit. Still at the moment, looks like the silicone at this time has done the job. What a bodge job. I'll just move the light in a bit more so we can keep an eye on the piece in question, which is right in there. So what I'm going to do is I'll leave that running for an hour. At the moment, if anything was going to do, it would have leaked by now. I would have seen water coming out, but I'll leave that there like that for the time being. And I'll get back to you in the 2 shakes of a lamb's tail to let you know if anything is coming out of there. Okay, back in a bit.